In this video, we're going to look at why you should have a paper boarding pass every single time you fly. Welcome everyone. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark, and this is the Average Me channel. In this video, we're going to talk about why you should have a paper boarding pass every single time you fly. As I'm making this, there's a popular commercial running, and in this commercial, they're talking about why are you acting like your parents. I think they're selling insurance. And one of the things they do is, let's see your boarding passes, and they all have paper passes, and the guy just gets disgusted by that.
Paper tickets. We're off to a horrible start.
And I'll say this, if their knowledge of insurance is the same as their knowledge of travel, I don't know that I'd want to buy insurance from that company. So let's talk about the paper boarding pass. Most people that travel don't use a paper boarding pass. Most people use the boarding pass that's on their phone. And if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I talk about saving your boarding passes in a variety of different places. So I'm going to go into depth why I do this and why I think that paper boarding passes are really, really important. When you book a flight, your boarding pass is going to be made available to you in a number of different places, but the most apparent is going to be in the app. So the first thing we want to do, even if you're only going to fly in an airline one time, make sure that you download the app to your phone. If you do that and you create an account, it's going to be real easy to find your boarding pass because it's going to be linked to your account and that flight information is going to be there. For a lot of people, I know that can be a confusing proposition, and there are problems with it that we'll get to in just a minute. So where else do I save my boarding pass? Well, typically I will take a screenshot of it. So that boarding pass now is also in my photographs. The next thing I typically do, I have an iPhone and I save it to the iPhone wallet. Holy cow, that's 3 different places. Absolutely. When I get on board, when I'm boarding the plane or when I'm going through security, I don't want to be fumbling to find that information, which is why I like a paper boarding pass. Let me tell you a quick story. One time I was flying into Canada, and I think I might have been in Toronto, I'm not sure, but there was a connecting flight, and when you go into another country, you have to go through customs, and in many cases you have to reclaim your bags and recheck the bags. And oftentimes, your phone is not going to work as well as you think it does. And in this particular instance, I tried to open up the app. The app was not opening. Well, I knew that I had that boarding pass saved in a couple other places. And I'm fumbling, trying to get into my photos, and I realized there's a lot of people behind me. I just reached into my pocket and showed them my boarding pass, and I was through. It was so simple, so easy. You never know when something is going to go wrong with electronics. How about a battery dying unexpectedly? And now you're depending on that item. Of course, you can always have a backup battery charger, and that's fine. I would strongly recommend it. But the worst things happen at the worst possible time. And that's one of those things. You open your phone and, how did my battery get discharged so quickly? And suddenly you don't know what to do because you can't get through the gate because your phone went dead. It's always a good backup to have this paper boarding pass. How often are you going to use it? Very seldom. Probably 95% of the time you're going to be fine getting through customs or boarding with just your phone. But over the past 10 years of traveling regularly, I can't tell you how many times I was grateful that I had that paper boarding pass. Most of the time I got to my destination and I put it in recycling. But those times when you really need it, you're going to be glad that you have it. Those times are unexpected. You can't say, yeah, I'll do it this time, I won't do it this time, because you just never know. Where should you get your boarding pass? Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. Number one, they usually give you an option as soon as you check in to download that boarding pass, and you can print it at home. I usually don't. I usually wait until I get to the airport. At that point, you can print it out at the kiosk, Or when you go to check your bag, you can go up to the courtesy desk, and I always ask them, hey, could you print out my boarding passes? Well, I shouldn't say I always ask them to do that if I fail to do it at the kiosk. But most of the time, I do have a paper boarding pass. While we're talking about the kiosk, let's talk about that kiosk. Most airlines are now expecting you to go up to the kiosk rather than go up to a desk to check in. If you check in at home, you can, and you don't have any bags to check, you can bypass the kiosk altogether. You can go right to security because you just have your carry-on and you have your boarding pass and you can go right through. That's really great unless you want to get a paper boarding pass. If that's the case, oftentimes they have kiosks in the different terminals. You don't really have to go up to the gate. It's better if you know your airport to rely on that. If you don't know the airport, I wouldn't rely on it. I would go up to the desk when you first check in, or go up to the kiosk and just get that boarding pass. At the kiosk, there's a lot of things you can do. As you're checking your bag, another thing that you can do is tag that bag. They usually expect it of you, and I want to talk a little bit about that. What are you going to need when you go up to the kiosk? Probably you'll need your confirmation number. So if you have nothing else, if you didn't save that boarding pass to your phone, whatever may have happened, write down that number, or you'll find it on your boarding pass, either on your phone or on the paper boarding pass. Boy, is it nice that the sun is leaving. That sun is burning down. I was starting to get a little hot sweating, but it's so nice and relaxing out here at the pool. So what you will do is go up to that kiosk. You'll put in your confirmation number. There are other ways. There's usually 2 or 3 different ways. You can put in sometimes the credit card that you use to save your reservation or to make your reservation. Sometimes you can put in your personal information. Your passport will be accepted at the kiosk. The easiest thing is confirmation number. And then a couple of things are going to come out. Number 1, you can get a receipt. Number 2, you can get your itinerary. Number 3, you can get a boarding pass, of course. And number 4, you're going to get your luggage tag. The luggage tag is going to come out. It's going to be a big strip about 2 feet long. And I've seen people struggle with that. It's not that tough. Look on the back, and it usually explains what to do. All right, it tells you, peel off this piece. So put it underneath the handle of your luggage so you can see this. Peel this off, and they'll be sticky underneath, and you bring them together. That's all you have to do. I've seen more people throw this away, even though it says keep this tab. Why do you need that? Because on the back is your claim check. Really important. If your bags get lost, you're going to want that claim check number. There's been more than one occasion when I've done that as well. My luggage was lost. Most of the time it just is arriving late, but you still want to have that bag claim number so you can have it delivered to your hotel or delivered to your home. Sometimes it is actually lost. I once was denied, I'll show you the video, I'll link it here. I was denied admittance into Canada. I haven't been able to return since because of the pandemic. Unfortunately, my baggage was not declined entry, and it went on. So it was weeks tracking those bags, but I eventually got them back, and I wouldn't have if I didn't have my baggage claim number. What I usually do, this is sticky, so what I usually do is peel this off and I stick it to the back of my boarding pass. That way I don't have to keep this whole big piece of paper. If I'm checking 2 or 3 bags, I don't have 2 or 3 pieces of paper. I have just one, this boarding pass, and it's all in one place. I have boarding pass information, I have my bag claim stuff, and it's all kept together. So there's a little bit of a hint of why you should have a boarding pass and how to deal with the kiosk and your bags. If you travel enough, eventually you're going to be glad that you had this. It's not archaic. It doesn't mean that you're acting like your grandparents. It's a good practice. And one day you're going to be glad that you did it. Here comes the sun again. I think when I'm done, I'm going to take a jump in the pool. Well, I hope that this helped you out. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner, and don't forget to ring that bell icon. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me Channel.